Right guys, this is the Triumph Speedmaster 1200. This was actually the first Triumph in our family. My brother picked it up, I think in 2021. So the whole superbike thing started with the cruiser. And my brother said, well, why don't you just keep it with you for some time and ride it until you get bored of it. So that is how this bike has come to my hands. And this is the first ride that I'm taking the bike out for a ride. So what is special about this bike? Well, it has a comfy seat. It's, very comfortable seating position. It's basically a cruiser. Exactly what it needs to be. How it needs to feel. So when I got the bike, well, the bike was not in a very good condition, right? It hadn't been ridden, for like, very little between the service intervals. So I had to immediately rush the bike to service. Got the bike serviced. Some few parts had to be changed. And the bike has become very, sturdy, quiet, and no shaking or anything like that. So I'm more of a naked sports bike guy. This is the first time I'm actually riding a cruiser. I have not ridden any other lower CC cruiser bikes. This is the first one. My dream started with wanting to ride this bike, and after too many years it has finally happened. It's not the most fun bike to ride, but it still, feels good, it has its presence. I love its sound, doop, 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 doop sound, and those firing order. It's a big engine, very, very nice clutch. There was only 2 updates. So 2018 Speedmaster was the first gen 1200cc Speedmaster, followed by 2021 there was some change, and there was no change until this year, 2026, where they made some changes, like they made the clutch a little bit smoother and lighter, and they changed the front and rear wheels, the spoked wheels be a little bit lighter by 500 grams each, and they put a wider seat, which is not much different from the seat that this bike has, because the moment the bike was bought, the seat was already updated to a more comfy, wider seat, spongy seat, because you need the spongy feeling. So yeah, so the bike is great, feels great to ride. As the first impression is great impression, right? I love the bike. I was just riding here and there in the city, and then I thought, okay, well, let's just take it out for a spin. That's the whole purpose of having the bike with me. So yeah, enjoy the ride, everybody. Macha mari. See, without the windshield, I can feel a lot of wind hitting right at my, at my torso, my neck, the whole helmet itself, So I'm definitely interested in getting that large windshield. I'll initially try to fit it with a shorter one. We'll see how that feels. That's not good. I'll put that OEM, the big windshield, which blocks away a lot of the wind and dust and everything. Gives more confidence to ride. When I say confidence, it's like the wind is just not barging right at you. Give it that. You should be enjoying the bike, not fighting the wind. apparently today the cops were checking of all those sports bike, aftermarket exhaust, loud exhaust. I thought, okay, why not I just take this bike out? No, cops are not going to threaten me. There's nothing wrong with this bike. It's on a stock exhaust. Basically, it's all just bare metal, whatever that comes from the factory. The bike did have an option for Vance 96 exhaust. I think they severed the link with Triumph years ago. They don't make that anymore. But then again, it's always good to have that more, feeling of that exhaust, thup, 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 thup. But this is good enough. I like it, the way it sounds. I don't know whether I'm not sitting properly or something. I can feel a little bit of back, like my back is in a bit of not an upright, kind of like an arch or something from the hip. I'm trying to adjust myself to sit in the most comfy position. There's not much of an angle and all that. You have your foot at the front and the both sides. I hope it's not going to rain. I hope so. Feel the wind hitting on my sole of my boots, trying to lift my feet off of the pegs, the front pegs. I can feel some droplets rain. Well, I hope it's not gonna rain. I have to find a shelter if it does rain. Damn it, I didn't see that I was above 80. Oh yeah, it's raining, alright. Probably just flying clouds. See the weather conditions before I started the ride. I don't see any kind of thick, dark cloud, which would be quite apparent, evident that it will rain. But I don't think so. It's gonna rain. Other than just some flying clouds. Stay below 80. I don't want those speed trap cameras to pick up my speed, get stopped by the cops. They will be standing sometimes at the toll. I'm not in a car, but apparently they also wait at the two-wheeler junction. The suspension feels okay. I can see that's the way the hump is. So I can't change that. the bike has run about 10,400 kilometers in like 5 years. So that's not much. It's still on the stock tire, you know. There was always an initial, oh, I want to go for a ride, ivatte on ride go every weekend, and then slowly that, you know, if it doesn't become your passion, if you don't hold to it, the interest ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಗಾಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೋರ್. Then you will find a new, you know, hobby or passion. Some people might find going to the gym or cycling or, you know, exploring places or food or, you know, maybe even some other sports, you know, golf or something like that. And what happens is, well, you can't be doing, you can't be doing too many things because there's just not enough time, you know, even for a weekend, even if it is a 3 days weekend, which is not, you just can't. So that's how, you know, it's gonna just shift from here to there. So however, my love for bike riding, you know, especially super bikes, you know, sports bike, it never dies. I at least keep thinking about bikes at least 20 to 30%, you know, every day. Yeah, I have other things to do as well, but that doesn't stop me from thinking about bikes, watching, you know, bike videos, reviews, this, that, because I love it. That's it. The only thing to be very, you know, very cautious about this bike is the big fat or thin, you know, high humps, speed breakers. The bike has a very poor ground clearance, probably under 100 mm. You know, you don't want to go and run over a hump at a high speed. Literally, sometimes, depending on the type of hump, if it is too high, you literally have to just go in, you know, 1 kilometers speed and hoping that it's not gonna touch, or maybe even lift yourself off the bike and try to, you know, accelerate slowly. That is the only drawback of this bike. It's not really meant for Indian roads, you know, because we don't have good roads. Yeah, only potholes, you know, undesignated humps, you know, probably not even designed, you know. Shit happens everywhere. All of a sudden one day there's a hump which wasn't there, and it's been put by, you know, somebody, you know, just by some local or villagers. Not on the national highway, but you will find it, you know, some of the national highways. Like, so, I don't suggest to ride this bike at night, because that's where, you know, things like running over the hump or, you know, something like that can happen. And it's not a very agile bike. It cannot be ridden like a, you know, naked bike or a sports bike where you can just turn it around, maneuver however you want. So that won't work on this bike. पक्का हो गया वो. Yeah, that's where there'll be cops will be standing, you know. If you're overspeeding as your car is coming closer, they will see, okay, vehicle is coming, fine hakbeko ಅವನಿಗೆ. I'll put the fine. I think I paid 500 or something last time for overspeeding. It said you're above 80 yesterday. Well, I was above 80. You know, she was showing me evidence. I said, okay, fine. See, the cops are actually standing, as I said. So probably they're gonna stop asking ಏನಿದು after market exhaust ಏನಿದು. I think probably that's for these people maybe. I remember that guy. Usually they stop at night for drunken driving. I don't know what they're doing. What they're doing here at this time. Maybe stopping superbikes, or maybe helmetless people. Maybe. Where did that guy come from? I can feel more wind on the left side of the pegs than the right side. I don't understand why that is happening. Yeah, no, I can feel it on both the places. I need to keep my feet planted on the front pegs. Just remember the bike actually has a 6th gear, but good to be on the top gear. Get more fuel efficiency and you can cruise around say. Which reminds me, once we cross this I want to check the cruise control. I have no idea how that works, but we'll figure it out. Yay, no rain, no male. ಬೇಕು, but not right now. You'll see this bike in one of my older videos. My brother was riding with me a couple of nights actually. Yep, the bike was very dear to his heart. It is even now, that's why it's still here. Press this button or something. See, cruise control is activated now, so it will be cruising in the same speed that I've set. Until I hold the clutch, I don't know what happens. Yeah, it releases the cruise control. You can see a small clock-like symbol has come up in the analog display. Want to be behind speeding trucks. Turn that thing off. I don't know why it's not turning off. At least I know there will be an indication if it is on by any chance. Love the torque. I'm sure this bike can be tuned to perform better, but sometimes I wonder if this is the way cruiser needs to be. It doesn't have the same power as a T120, the same torque, but as we know, electronically the bike is restricted in such a way that it aligns with a cruiser bike, not as a roadster or a cafe racer. You're not supposed to be getting too much of power, that's probably not what you want. I don't know how the bike will actually handle that. Let's overtake him. Okay, maybe not. Mr. Harrier guy. I'm expecting a big hump to be ahead, so I'm gonna just demonstrate what I meant by going almost at 0 kmph over these big humps, tall humps. Just let me figure out a way to cancel this thing. Some cop checking or something happening the other side, this side. But we'll know when we are returning back on the same road.